Welcome, Scorpio, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview for week commencing the 13th of July for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week first of all, unpack your event chart on the screen, and go through each of the influences in detail. At the end of the video, you'll have a clear picture of what the week holds in terms of your energy, work, relationships, or finances. Thank you so much for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. It's a week when being in touch with how we feel is very much to the fore with a lot of Cancerian energy. But it's also a week for you when you could be thinking about how you can change things up, be more spontaneous, perhaps even escape a little bit and go on holiday or have some time out. But that could be a little bit of a toggle with some of your responsibility. But when it comes to your relationship situation, things can get hot and they can get heavy, but they could also get sparky. But later in the week, if you can get your mind onto the more practical strands, particularly around your long-term finances, there's a great opportunity to improve your situation a lot. So on the screen is your event chart, Scorpio. And as ever, it's important to look at the two luminaries. So the moon's just arrived in a home sign of Cancer and will merge with the sun in the new moon on Tuesday. But on Monday, the advancing sun meets the retreating Mercury in its retrograde. Now, if you have been encountering some tangles, maybe around booking tickets, anything to do with travel, could be a contractual matter you've been waiting to hear on, and there's been a delay that may have caused frustration. Cancerian energy is very much about how we feel. It's intuitive, but it's protective. And it's possible that with the Mercury cazimi on Monday, where the magnificence of the sun radiates into Mercury's ability for analysis, that you will cut through and get to the root of an issue which has proved frustrating. But also on Monday, Uranus, the planet of change, clashes with Venus, the planet of relating. And it's in Venus, the part of your chart to do with your long-term future, and Uranus is in the part of your chart to do with close and intimate connection. And if you're not enjoying a relationship and you don't see it as being part of your long-term future, the chances are with this escapist new moon that you may want to at least have some personal space, if not bring a tie to a close. But you know, the converse can be true, Scorpio. If you're traveling anywhere, if you are on a holiday or vacation, you could encounter someone who's very irresistible. Now, in terms of your professional situation, Jupiter continues as he will for the next near to 13 months in a very prominent and dominant part of your chart, which can help to raise your profile. And if you are someone who has your own channel, you're a communicator, a teacher, or a trainer, this is a very strong week for you for sure. But what we also have as the week draws to a close is your traditional ruler Mars moves forwards and links back to Saturn. Now, Saturn can be very scrutinizing, but its link to Mars suggests if you are trying to squeeze more from your resources, if you do look at the detail and you're disciplined, you can achieve that. But also Uranus is going to forge a stunning link to Jupiter and also Pluto. And if there is something that you really have got your heart set on, your drive to go for it, Jupiter opposite Pluto, can be very strong. But the more open you are to fresh and different and innovative approaches, particularly how you use your resources, the better you are going to do. And indeed, Scorpio, if you are a creative, Jupiter's link to Neptune is very good if you're applying for a job, and it is a job where you have to show both structure and form. And I think your talent in those areas can really be very much to the fore as this week goes on. I'm going to summarize those four areas of vitality, work, relationships, and finances next. But just before I do, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscope reports, 3 for the price of 1. But on the forecast, you'll get from now through to the end of year 2027. So it's fantastic value. You also get your life roadmap report, helps us to understand the patterns in our life, but also, and really importantly, your draconic soul karmic analysis. 3 for the price of 1. Please see below for more. I've recorded an overview of the last 6 months prospects for Scorpio, beginning with the midpoint of the calendar year on the 2nd of July. But I also include in it the solar and lunar eclipse, also the nodal shift, and Jupiter into Leo, but Mercury in a retrograde in your zodiac sign in the latter part of October from the 24th. Please click on the eye on the screen or the link beneath this video and it'll take you to them. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, or you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope, please see below for more. So when it comes to neat energy, there's no doubt about it. The new moon gives you an opportunity to be more active and freedom loving, but Saturn's in a part of your chart that's quite restrictive, and it is still in touch in a square with the sun. So if you try to do too much this week, you could deplete your resources. So I think it's a week where you really need to manage your time well. However, when it comes to your professional situation, if you are a creative, that Jupiter link to Uranus and particularly to Neptune is stunning. However, the opposition to Pluto later in the week suggests if you really go for it around your ambitions, make sure you're also very organized as far as your support structures at home and emotionally. As far as relationships, Chiron's still on that 7th house, the wounded healer, but it's in a conjunction with the path of fortune. Will fortune come for you around a relationship? Well, I think the square between Venus and Uranus would suggest if you're not enjoying one, you may favor being a free spirit and could spin out of one that's not been terribly committed. If, however, you're in a tie that's for the longer term, maybe what you really need to do is reinvigorate the passion, Uranus and Mars in the 8th house, and also moderate the time that each of you may spend on your interest and with other people. However, if you are single and you are traveling, as I mentioned, there could be a really sparkling connection with someone. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me, Scorpio. Have a great week. All the best.